So I'm here to come to sell them again. 9.5 straight night, 20 straight night, even straight here. Now guys, 8 halves are trading as well.
What is going on? So I already did a video on Twitch where I showed folks how to build essentially this footprint chart, but the video was also had equity charting and stuff like that, and I figured I would go over this sort of this flow chart here that's pretty popular, and how to build it in Sierra chart. So I'm just going to go ahead and start. This is live stream, so if folks have questions, I can sort of address those. But if not, I will, and hopefully, let's see. Yeah, I think I've got my microphone on. That's important. Hopefully here I can sort of help people to build this chart. And anyway, I will just start from the top. Let me explain what this chart essentially shows. It's got some trend lines on here, which, you know what, we can go ahead and just clean these up for now. It's based on a 60-minute chart, so let's get this nice and cleaned up. So this left side here, we're going to look at each component of the chart independently. This left side here is a candle, and then each of these bars represent a tick, right? And visually, this is showing volume. Okay, so where the volume is transacting in this candlestick. So my time frame here is 5 minutes, and you see how this little bar here is blue, right? You can see it over here, it's blue, and this left of that, it's blue down here, purple down here. All of that means is that there's a 400% or greater imbalance at that level. So typically what happens in a candlestick is you have a lack of interest, and so like in this case they sold into it, but it never went any lower, right? So it's all essentially bid volume by 400%. So that's all that's showing. Is often it's showing you exhaustion, or if you get a breakout, you'll just get one-sided buying, and then you'll see a bunch of blue. Let's see if we see it here. But anyway, you'll get one-sided buying here, and so you'll see a bunch of blue, and that just means that you know, one side is basically buying or getting sold or bought into. So in the case of it being blue, it would just be a bunch of ask volume if this turned all blue. So breakouts sometimes occur when it turns all blue, because you know, traders buy through multiple levels, maybe stops are hit, and right here we have absorption, by the way, a little bit of absorption. So someone's continually willing to buy here. One side's going to lose, so you know, maybe we punch to the upside here. Nice consolidation, so we'll see. But anyway, what ends up happening is it turns all blue, and then price retraces, and then the blue goes away. But you know, sometimes it's really powerful, and the breakout is really powerful, and it doesn't come back. So anyway, those are the components. These lines here, right? So here's a lower line and an upper line. That's represents one standard deviation, or 70% of the volume of this candle, right? Or this whole bar here, okay? Down here, we have volume at the bottom, right? Total volume for the bar. And then we have the net deltas for the bar, right? So this is positive delta. And then this next one up here that's kind of moving is a percentage. So these deltas are what percent of the total volume? 2.17%. So the buying is outpacing the selling, right? If you think about buying as initiative versus selling is, initiative, hitting the bid by 2%. Here it's by 11%. And we had a candle that was essentially red, right? So, or a selling candle, right? So that's a bit of a divergence here. So just explaining that, and then I overlay the session cumulative deltas here, and I have it on the left side scale here, right? And I'll show you guys how to do that. And then this is the regular trading hours volume profile. So this is only from, I'm on the, I'm in California, so I'm Pacific Standard Time. So for me, this is 6:30 to essentially 1:15. And then this is all Globex, or the previous session's Globex. Okay, so obviously there's a lot more volume here than there is in Globex. And we could see that if we scroll up, because I summarize it right at the bottom here, and I'll show you guys how to do that. So this is what, 684,000 something contracts, and this is 225,000 for the whole overnight session, right? So this is the deltas for this session, and then this is the deltas for the overnight session with the range underneath. So that's an overview. And again, all this stuff down here is labeled, right? And so I'll show you how to do that. Again, I already went over this on Twitch. There's less lag on Twitch. So it's a little bit better for this format, but I realize I have a lot more people following me on YouTube than I do on Twitch. If you want to follow me on Twitch, I do a lot of equity, day trading reviews, e-mini reviews there, and then actually a lot of them have played out over the last 2 weeks very, very well. So it would behoove you, or it would benefit you probably, to follow me there, because it's been useful for a lot of people, especially if you're swing trading a lot of these names. Okay, so all right, you can see that this session delta, you can overlay it like that. You can see the way it's moving, right? And what's nice about this is you get to see in real time as it's moving. It's moving on the close of each 5-minute bar where there's divergences. So it's kind of nice, right? You can move it under or over. Like this stays static on this left side. And then, you can change the scaling on it, right? But anyway, we like it like this, and just keep this in the middle. Let's see. We'll go like this. We'll do this for now. Okay, so let's get into it. On these studies, all right, let's see. You guys can see everything. What's generating? We're going to start first with this here. What's generating this is basically the number bar studies in Sierra chart. So you want to go over here to the left side and just type in number, and it's a number bar study. So you want to add that. I rename everything to kind of what it does. So let's go into the settings. Okay, so again, this is number bars. You can see in parentheses up here it says number bars, so that's the study. Okay, so in column 1, sorry, I'm going to drink some water here. Sorry about that. Mouth is dry. Too much coffee today. So in column 1, you need to make, let's see, column 1 is not used. Okay, so don't use column 1, right? And you'll understand in a few minutes here why we don't use column 1. Column 2 is used. Okay, so you want to set it to no text, the background, full background. Doesn't matter what you set this to, but it needs to be set not to none transparent. So it just needs to be set to something. The text coloring method does not need to be set at all. Okay, this background for this, what essentially is this left side of, sort of like, you can just think of this as an outline. It's a number bar here. Oh yeah, had a great week so far, Christopher. Hope you did too. And thank you for that. So, you need to set this to black, and that is basically allowing when we do set up this column for this column to be moved over to the right a little bit. So it's essentially a spacing thing. So we're using this to kind of give ourselves some spacing and lining this up over to the right, right? It's a little trick because otherwise you're not going to be able to get a real nice centered candle here eventually and bars. Okay, so that's column 2. And column 3, we're going to do background type, volume profile, background coloring method based on dominant side ask, bid volume, percentage. Okay, and that gives us our essentially eventually our 400% imbalance. Again, you could set this differently, but if we're doing the same as what is out there, say on NinjaTrader, this is how we do it. Okay, so this column 3 range 3 up color, you would set it to this blue. It's green, red 1, green 130, blue 235. And if you're like, what are you talking about? That's this. Red 1, green 130, blue 235 gets you this nice color. Okay? And then this is just gray. 125s all across the board. All right? And that's the volume here. The volume, you can make this lighter for brighter volume, but you're going to lose the pop when you put your POC box in, and that's what this white box is. It's POC, point of control for the bar. So I recommend doing a little bit darker gray like this, and it still pops with the black background. Okay, so and then your range 3 is 255, 0, 185. Okay, you aren't going to use any of these pullback columns. Not going to use the default text color. These minimum highlight colors, none of that. Maximum, nope. Highlight point of control. Okay, so the highlight line, maybe put it as 1 so it's not too thick. All right, so, or maybe that's not even the, oh, point of control highlight line 1 it's here. I was looking at the wrong one. It's right here, 1. And then the highlight point of control, you're going to do it in column 2. Okay, so here's a funny thing about number bars is you say like, oh, column 2, right? Does column 2 mean that it's, okay, this is column 1 as defined here, column 2, and this is column 3, right? This is how it's labeled. So you might think column 2 for that setting is here. No, it's not. Column 2 for this setting is, where is it for the POC? Okay, right here. Column 2, this is looking at the columns that are actually filled in on the number bars. So it's saying you used column 2 up here, but it's in the column 1 slot on the chart. And then the column 2 slot on the chart itself is here. So that's how this setting works on this specifically. It is a little confusing, I know, but that is how it works. So you want to put it in column 2, which is actually going to put the POC over the column 3, which is in the column 2 place on the number bar on the chart. So it's a little funky, right? To get past that. If you didn't know about this trick, you might sit here and spin your wheels here a little bit. So let's see. A lot of this other stuff down here. No, you don't care about all of this. You can maybe pause your video if some of it's turned on or something, but you don't need to set it. Okay, what you do need to set, so I have the maximum font size here at 6, right? So set this according to what your fonts are and your charts and yada yada yada. Okay, so down here, you want to make sure you set your column percent compare thresholds. The first two don't really matter because it's always going to be gray no matter what. But this correlates to essentially see how this is 1, 1, 2, 3. This is what that correlates to. All right, 1, 2, 3. So you want to set the third one to 4, and that represents 400%. Okay. You are not putting in a candlestick here yet or anything like that. Don't worry about all these colors. You're not using all of that. Actual volume compared threshold, you're not using actual volume. We're using percents so that, Sierra chart doesn't actually look at this for settings. See, all this large number volume formatting doesn't matter because we're not displaying numbers, are we? Here's where you want to make a change to the setting. Spacing adjustment value of 3, right? And now watch. If we change this, it's going to squish this it's going to squish this to the left, right? And that's why we have that black background that is essentially only showing black bars, because we're creating space for this candle here in the number bars, which are only essentially this wide, right? They're this wide. So watch if we change this to 10. Check it out. Hit apply. See how it squished it left? All right. So this bar is getting squished. Watch if we change it to 35. Apply it. Oh, the bars are completely, so it's squishing everything left. So it's 2 tiny little columns. Right? So we're trying to maximize the space or widen this out as much as possible while creating black space for this candle. But we're trying to maximize the space from the left side of this bar to the right. Okay, we could do this a whole different way and have candles that aren't hollow, but everything's going to be squished over to the right, and then these candles don't have a lot of width to them. So you don't want to do that. There's someone else out there has created this same chart, and I don't know how they did it exactly, but probably something similar, and their settings are slightly different, and everything's squished over to the right. Hey, look at us pushing up, right? Not too surprising. Bull market. Okay, so that gets us column right here. Okay. So, okay, if I hide this column, all right, what do we have? We just have this. Okay. Unhide it. Now we need to create another number bar so that we get this candle in the right spot. And you can do that. Sierra chart allows us to do multiple number bar studies over the top of each other to get different effects, right? And so this is how we're doing it, right? So create a new number bars study. Okay. By the way, let me hide this candle. I'll show you what it looks like. Right? That's that black space we created here to get ready for the candle. Right? So we're creating space here to allow for eventually the candle to go in here. Okay? So we'll unhide the candle. There it is. Right? Okay, so this is a number bar study now. Let's go into the settings. Pretend you just added it. All right. So in column 1, you want to have something there. Okay? No text. You want a full background. You don't have any text there, so whatever this is set at, just ignore it. All right? Make all these columns black. You're creating space for this candle. All right? So that's column 1. Column 2 is, again, full background. And doesn't matter what you set this to. Doesn't matter what you set this to because you're doing no text. Right? So the text coloring method refers to this. Look at that. Nice push up. Okay, so now that you've got essentially 2 columns for this number bar study, all right, we're not going to show anything here in the column 3, so ignore all these colors. Right? I built this from a previous chart book or study of mine. not even a chart book, but I built this out of a previous study collection. So, and I have it on Twitter. These are the colors I was using, right? And so I kind of made it look completely different. I used the open to close boxes, and so I had it so that these bars were even wider, right? So it gave you even more of a visual. But yeah, anyway, to get the candle over here on the left, we got to do all these little tricks. Okay, so in this one, you're not using all this stuff here, the pullback columns or anything. You're not using it. You're not highlighting point of control, right? We've already done all that. Okay, so coming all the way down here. Okay, here it is. We want to do a candle, stick, outline, right? So go ahead and select that. Candlestick outline. Where are we putting it? We're putting it in column 2. Right? We have column now. So again, this is a different footprint bar. Here's what I'll do. Let me go hide this other one so you guys can see the effects of what we're doing right now. Kind of, right? It's a little bit more visual. So that way you guys are learning a bit. So it's in column 2, right? It looks like it's in column 1, huh? Doesn't it? Well, here's what we do. We put it in column 2. So it's really on the one on the right. You guys, the sharper folks are probably like, hey, I know what he's going to do with that spacing adjustment down at the bottom. Yep, you figured it out if you're thinking ahead. So we're putting this in column 2. Again, these colors. All this doesn't matter because we're not using it. But in case you have stuff set, you can copy this so that you know. Candlestick outline width, you can mess with this. Maybe you want it as 2. All right, let's look at how 2 looks, right? Not my cup of tea, but you know, whatever. If you want to do 2, give it a go. Okay, we'll set that to 1. Spacing adjustment value, right? If we have this set to 3, what do you think is going to happen? It's going to go way off to the right. Ah ha ha, right? Look, it's off. If you look vertically, it's off to the right. And there's a black space over here. So what do we got to do? Okay, let's try squishing it. Go to 5. Oh, I'm getting a little less. Let's go to 10. Squishing it left. See what we're doing? See the trick we're doing? 15. Nope. 20. All right, now it's starting to squish left. And so the black box here is compressing, right? And at 24, it's compressing even more, but it's still kind of there. At 26, I like it. I like how it looks at 26. But you might go 28. I don't know. Let's see. Maybe you like 28. I don't know. But you're always going to have a little line here because there's a black column being used here. So maybe you like that. I don't know. But 26 does not overlap when we unhide this other side. It doesn't overlap, so it's slightly wider. And I think proportionally it allows for seeing the wicks very nicely. Okay? So that's all this number bar study does, is it creates this candle, right? So there's some overlap, right? Each study's using 2 columns, but for the reasons I outlined, you got to use column 2 and 3 in the other one. So that's just the whole thing. So it's a little tricky. I get it. All right, so up until this point, we've created this and this. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is you want to add in your value area lines. And for that, you just find the volume value area for bars. All right, make sure this input is at 70, chart region 1. Okay. And then make the color what you want. Dash style, don't do line. I like the width as 1, right? So just like that. Okay. So, look at what is here. See these names? I'm not using them. I was trying it, but it got too many indication of names, and we know what it is. Come on. But for a little bit, I put the names in. Okay. So set all that, hit apply. Notice where it is. Volume value area lines are way up here. If you have this below, I'll show you. Move down. Okay. Hit apply. Look at where the lines right now are behind the candle. Watch now. Goes over the top of the candle. All right. So do you like the candle being cut off by the lines? It's up to you. I don't. I like it behind. So move it up. Footprint candle's now below. This now, a footprint candle now shows over the top. So little trick. Not sure how many of you guys know about that, but all right. So now we got the value area in. Okay. Let's see what's next. Let's do this bottom portion here. All right. So in case I have to go away early and don't get to all of this. Might be a long video. So the bottom area here, you need to add number bars. Let's see. Let's just start with volume. We'll start from the bottom and move our way up. Okay. So let's see. You add the number bars calculated value study. I like to put names in there, so in this case it's bar volume. Okay. Might start from the other way because it's, maybe we'll chart region 2, then 3, then 4. But anyway, this will be chart region 2, this will be chart region 3, this will be chart region 4. Okay, so we'll set it as chart region 4. Okay, so what we need to do is set it just like this with the font size, again, whatever you're using. Labels on the right, makes the labels over here because, in this kind of chart, you really want to maximize, because these are so wide, you want to maximize sort of the space over here on the left because you got volume by price studies or volume profile over here on the right. So get your labels over on the right and save yourself chart space over here on the left. So labels on the right. You're not referencing any other intraday charts. Okay. Reset day calculations at both session start times. No. Anyway, let's finish going through here. The percent compare thresholds, 25, 40%, 75%. So basically, as a percentage of as volume increases as a percentage of the session, it'll turn lighter or whiter over here. Okay, I can show you guys that here. See that? See how right here at the open we had all our volume as a percentage of the session? See how it's nice and white? So that just tips us off that, hey, like this 5-minute bar or whatever time frame bar you're using is a little higher volume relative to everything else in the session, right? So this is the lightest it gets up here. So near the close, we'd expect that to lighten up quite a bit, all right? So it's not comparing like the last few bars or anything, it's comparing the whole session, okay? So anyway, back into the studies here. Move it up a little bit. Where were we at the bottom here? Bar volume. Okay, so volume only goes up, doesn't it? So you don't have to worry about all this down here. So I go black for the lowest, a little less black, and then all the way up until, the highest percentage volume of the session. Okay, so that's what that is. That's how you set that. Just set this way. I could spend too much time talking about each thing, but all right. And then you're using volume, total volume. Okay, so that's it. All right. So if you click on it, right, notice here I've got a little short name, and that's what shows up over here, right, in the label. Right. So labels are on the right, so you don't need to click this and label it again. It's already automatically putting the label in here based on the input here. Use labels on right side or whatever, wherever that was. I think it was up here somewhere. Yeah. Okay, so that gets you this field. You could probably do one number bar study and then organize it. Like here, subgraph display order, comma separated. And then you can display your subgraphs like 1, 2, 3, but you won't get the nice spacing here like you have. It won't be as nicely spaced. I'll just tell you like that. Okay, so I do separate studies for them. Next one we want to do, this is net deltas for per bar. So bar delta is what I call it. It's again number bars calculated values. Study number bars calculated values. Again, this is my name, bar delta. Chart region 3. Oh, price is moving. I may want to get off here and go do some trading here. I was expecting a push, but already at noon. This is nice. Noon my time, 3 p.m. Eastern. Okay, so that's all right. I've made my money today. We'll let it go. I want to buy SPY put verticals for mid-May. That's what I want to do. But whatever. I've bought enough and I'm scaled in. I just remembered, so it's okay. I'll be buying some of those automatically on Interactive Brokers at the moment. Okay, so watch a lot of people get offline and go start buying puts. Don't do that. All my puts were bought with today's profit, day trading coin. So it's like a free trade for me, and it insulates other things. So not a signal. Okay, so font size again according to your chart. On the right. Okay. You can just look at this, pause your screen, copy it. It's no problem. Okay, so range 3 up or down. You want to just forget the comparisons. I for a while there I was making higher delta lighter, but then I was comparing it to this bar here, and it was like a different color, and I could never get them to exactly match up because one uses percent deltas of total volume, or net deltas percent of total volume, and this is using just a linear delta, so you're never going to get this to match up exactly with colors if you shade it. So just all one color, and it's the same R1, G130, B235. Okay, so super simple. All right, so delta ask volume, or ask volume, bid volume, difference is what you're going to be selecting. All right, so that's what that is. Ask volume, bid. Everything else is you're ignoring, right? Except for your grid lines. Sorry, your grid lines do need to be visible, right? Now that way it shows like this. Same thing with the other study, visible with 3. You can make that less than 3, but I suggest using 3 for reasons. When you eventually make these bars wider, the narrower these are, the more sensitive this is going to be if you mess it up by dragging your time scale a little bit. So that's just me. Okay. So that gets you your net deltas. All right. So the next one, bar delta. Now you want to go to your bar percent delta, and that's again just a number bars calculated value study, right? And for that one, you want to add this one, ask bid volume difference percent. Okay. Yeah, and you can go on Sierra chart and hit description, and you can figure all this out. And you can read the pulling back. See, wanted to buy more puts, but that's okay. Whatever. Again, I'm gonna make money on this. It's all good. The trader in me wants to go trade. Okay, so the next thing here, you want to set this all up this way. By the way, it's only going to use, if you set this to no color background based on value percentage. If you set this to yes, it'll use all these colors. Watch. See that? So if you set it to no, it's only going to use the top and bottom. At one point I was using all of them, so not anymore. So just FYI. All right. Plus, we're going to do another study to get the percentage bars here, and it's a little tricky. You'll see. All right, so set this up this way. All right, let's hit apply. So now we've got to do the bars here, right? And to do that, we need to do the study subgraph multiply. Okay, so essentially that's just looking, I'll show you. So here it is, study subgraph multiply. You want to point it to bar percent delta, right? Which is what you just went back and made, right? You want it in chart region 2, so the same chart region. So the input data, you want it to be the ask, essentially what you just set this as, the ask volume bid volume difference percent, okay? And then the multiplier, put it as 1. Okay, so we're going to invert this. You'll see, there's a little trick. Okay, so put it as 1. Color these blue, purple. I can explain it, but it's going to take maybe a little long. The width is going to be dependent on how much you stretch these out. So I've got it as 35. Okay, so that's probably going to work. But you know, again, it depends on your font sizes, so you'll have to move that around, etc. Go to scale. For the scale range, okay, you want it automatic zero based scale. And what that's going to do is it's going to cut off anything below 0, right? Because you got to realize that this is a study, like this is multiplying everything by 1. So there's bars like this bar. In real time, it would be going backward. It would be going below the 0 line. But you just want this study to cut it off at the 0 line. Right? And this will make sense when you go add another study subgraph. Okay. So this is the second one. For the multiplier, invert it. Go -1. So everything's the same. Use the same bar percent delta as the input, then the based on, and then the input is exactly the same thing. Ask volume, bid volume difference percent. Okay. Chart region 2, scale, automatic 0 based. But remember, now it's inverted. Right? It's inverted, so what was going down is now going up, right? But now the colors have to be inverted too. So purple now on the left, blue on the right, because it's inverted, right? Auto coloring based on bars, width size 35%. If this is, say, 11, these bars are going to look funky. See? This is the inverted side that we're playing. So you got to go to 35. And you got to invert everything, right? So what's positive is negative, but then you got to flip the colors as well to make that work. And it's above the 0 line, so it's printing the other side. So that, hopefully that makes sense. If it doesn't, that's fine. Just copy it. It'll work. All right. So then that gets you these bars. So, you know, as the bars shift in real time, gives you a nice little signal. You could only, if you want, you could only have one of these, right? These subgraph multiply. And you could leave this as 1, and then you can change this to not use 0 based, right? You could just do automatic or no, same as region or something like that. And then every time that you get negative delta as a percent total, it'll just flip down. It'll go boom, 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 it'll flip down. So that gives you kind of a nice signal too. It's your preference, okay? And what that would look like is this one. You see how this is flipping down? That's nice too, because it shows you, hey, they're hitting the bid, hitting the bid, hitting the bid, hitting the bid. Like, see the percentage is going up? The bar is getting a little bit, oh, hitting the ask, it's going, see the percentage is lower? Hitting the bid, hitting the bid, hitting the bid, right? Not moving much. Oh, hitting the ask, hitting the ask. You can see it right here, blue. right? So that's nice because you can see like absorption or aggression to the other side, right? So that's cool too. In this chart, it just all shows as either a positive number moving. It shows above the 0 line even if it's a negative number, whereas visually this is a little bit more clear. But again, what's out there is this one. Awesome, Carrie. I'm glad you're enjoying it, brother. And thank you for your service. Yeah, Green Berets are badasses. I have a bunch of books on Navy SEALs on my wall because I think they're pretty cool too. No books on Green Berets, but you guys are just as badass in my eyes. Why did I throw that other in there? I don't know. Just maybe a little bit of guilt since you said Green Beret. and the Navy SEALs are meme-ish, right? It's super popular. But anyway, back to this. Yeah, you guys are all badasses in my eyes. Yeah, I don't want to digress here. Let's stay on. I'm going to try to stay on topic because that is an interesting topic to me since I've read a lot of books on it. You've lived the life. I've just read a lot of books. So let's see. Where were we at? Okay, so we were on these delta percent visual bars here. So I was just pointing out that you could do it the other way, which I think is really. I personally think I'm probably going to go with the net delta footprint and like this, right? Because if you move it down, right, and then squish all this stuff up, it just gives you such a nice signal. I think it's a little bit, right? If we squish it down like this, it is a little bit more intuitive, right? Because you can kind of, let's do this. Okay. I think it's really important to see volume numbers here. So I think this chart is more powerful, but I get it. A lot of people like the visuals of not looking at volume numbers. Me, I am a numbers guy. I love seeing this stuff. As you can see, I am using the volume shading here. I want to know just based on a color where the volume is. Okay, so, but anyway, my focus is more of this popular chart that's out there on a NinjaTrader platform. So I'm showing you the equivalent in Sierra chart. Okay, so we've now built this. Okay, we've built this. I like to put, and this isn't on what's out there in NinjaTrader, I like to put the session value area high, value area low. I like to put the colors a little bit light, a lighter version of the blue and the, I guess, pink. And I like it to track the value area high and value area low for the session, right? So see how it tracks it, right? It's moving. See these lines moving? I think that's, in my trading, that is super important to note how value is moving. Okay, so I'm not making this about trading theory so much as I am just how to build this chart, but I just want to point out its importance. I like to put session volume point of control on there as well. And so what you do to put that on here, let's right click the chart, studies, get it out of the way here. This is the volume area value for bars. This is volume value area lines study. Okay, that's the name of the study itself. Volume, I didn't even change it. Volume value area lines, because it describes what it is that I've got here. I don't modify it too much. So I like to draw the developing value area lines. That's what this is. Ticks per volume bar 1, because we want it to be super accurate with the E-mini. If you're using, say, if you're trading the NASDAQ or something, you might change this to 4 or something. But then change everything else in the chart too. So anyway, time period day, time period length is 1, automatically correct invalid time period, whatever, yes. Volume value percent, we always do 70%. 68.2% is one standard deviation. That's accurate, but 70% is what we use. In the trading world, we round up by whatever, 1.8%. That's normal. Reference end periods back, nope, 0. New period at day sessions when using evening, yes, because we want this to be the session value area high. So RTH based on the chart settings time, right? Right click, chart settings, session open, close, blah, blah, blah. Use on day session only, no, because, I want to know what this is for the evening session as well, according to whatever you have the evening session set as for your chart settings time, okay? So we're putting this in chart region 1. So here's where you want to make it look nice. Okay, you put your little left arrow here so that it looks like this. Make all your colors. So POC, we're doing white, right? Also matches the volume by price study white here. This is RTH, this is ETH once again. And so you put the little short name on there. I don't like to display all my study names and subgraphs up here. I don't, it's like, okay, put your labels in. You don't have to display all that crap up here. I like it nice and clean. That's just me. Okay, so we're doing dash. So for volume point of control, draw style dash, right? Dash just means that there won't be a line going up to the next VPOC, right? It'll just, if VPOC was here and it moves up, boom, and it slams up here, there won't be a line connecting, which I think is ugly. You'll just see POC, boom, all of a sudden start up here if POC migrates. I'm not sure it's migrated today. Again, I've been doing this for a little while, so I don't know today so far. So I don't know if POC's been moving around. This has been my focus. I like to make POC wider. You could even do 3. That's nice too, see? So 3 is nice, whatever. I do 2. Just in case it goes over the lines. 3 sometimes will cover up some of this if it's over some of this and it just gets in the way. So 2, I like it. Name label, I do it on the right. So the right is here, right edge is over here. This is right side value scale. So we're doing to the right, we're centering it over the price. Okay, so we do that for each of them, right? We set the colors. However, just the lighter version of this up here, you can play with that. And again, dash, line style, alternate. You don't have to do alternate, but that's what I do. It's if you did solid, it just looked like that. So whatever. I just like the alternate because it's a little less in your face. Okay, so that's just me. All right, so set those all up. Put your short names in there again. Set all of that. So that gets you this, and that's nice looking, I think. Again, I have that set up here too, so you can see. See how what has POC? Let's see. Let's look to see up here. Yeah, it's migrated a little bit. POC is migrated a little bit. You can see it came down here, popped up just a few ticks. But anyway, I was just trying to look for an example. So you can see here in the 15-minute chart, see how the POCs was here and then it popped up a little bit. So really bullish that the POC is down here and we're moving up, by the way. But who knows what they'll do into the close. Not a lot of edge to be played on the close. So anyway, back to this. Okay, so now we've got this set up. Now let's look at setting up the session deltas. Okay, so let's go back into the studies. And let's look in here. You want to add cumulative delta bars. So that's the study, cumulative delta bars volume. All right, once you add it, go into the settings. You're going to add it to chart region 1, okay? Because you're going to overlay it onto the price. But here you're going to say act independent on your scale range. Make sure this is selected. Use left side scale. This is super cool, okay? Not a lot of people know about this in Sierra chart. I don't see people using this all the time and sort of utilizing this tool because it's going to allow you to do some cool stuff. Okay, so here we go. Scale, left side. So session here, what is it going to be, the close? I like to call it session CDs or session cumulative deltas, little arrow. All right. Everything else is ignored, right? And then what are we doing? We're doing alternate line style so that we can see it's the way it's moving. The width is 1. You're going to put a name label on the right. Value label, you want to reverse the colors to get it to look like this. Right? Because otherwise it's going to look like this. It's going to be hard to read. I'll just tell you that right now. Right? You see how this is moving? It's going to be hard to read. So let's go back into the settings. Left side value scale. Reverse it, because if you, well, let's see. I covered it up again. Going too fast. That's okay. Anyway, that's how you set it. Okay. Again, I de-click all of this essentially, right? Because I just don't like all that crap showing up here. Okay. Or even here. Right? I know what it is. It's all labeled. So once you put labels in there, you don't have to have all this header stuff, in my opinion. So that's just me. Okay, so you set it to use left side scale, right? But maybe you don't have a left side scale set up on your chart yet, right? So, all right, go into your chart settings, go to your advanced settings. So second tab, use left side scale. Make sure that's clicked. That's it. If you don't have that set, look, it's not going to show up. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, as my 3-year-old says. See that? All right. So interactive scale range. Let's click back to on. Watch this. Watch this. Oh, what? So you set it over here. Right. If you right click this, nothing's going to happen. Right click over here. Scale range. Right. So you can adjust it. Now when you click over here, look at that. Look at that. Right. That's awesome. So it doesn't have to be like using the whole screen. When I double clicked it, it automatically maximized to the whole screen. But anyway, you could do something like this. Whatever scale you think works best, right? I have cumulative delta over here. Right? We're just looking at the cumulative delta over the short term, using maybe this chart to kind of scalp or something. Right? You can maximize it on your whole screen and use to swing or whatever. Get a better view. But, you know, we're all zoomed in here, so we're only showing like 10, 12 bars, whatever. Okay, so that's cool, right? So anyway, you want to do this and, you know, set it to interactive scale move. Now, boom. Look at that. Right? So that's how we got that effect earlier. Whatever, it's all good. So you double click, it's maximizing the whole screen again. So you got to go back, interactive scale range, and left click on the this side. Now you're good. Okay, so that's a super cool little thing here. Right? So you see how this looks with the numbers. Did I set it? Did I remove the inversion? Is that easier to read? Shoot, maybe it is easier to read. Okay? With it not inverted. So, you know, maybe I fucked up on that, saying that. I don't know. This used to be a brighter color, and when it's a brighter color, it kind of bleeds out a little bit. So now that, you know, after the fact, I think I set it to a lighter color. Kind of less obvious. Okay, so on this right side, moving on from that, on this right side, this is volume by price study for day, but it's showing you deltas at tick too. You can achieve that with one study for this and one study for that. A lot of people don't know about that. Okay, so here's how you do it. Study settings. Sorry. Looking at the chat a little bit. Okay, I don't see anything. So we're looking at RTHVBP, or volume by price study. Again, I like to short name it, right? Just so that I know that this study is controlling the RTHs quickly. If not, it'll just be VBP start time to end time or something in the when it's as like the study list. So anyway, oh, this is a better way to adjust it, isn't it? Anyway, so let's do this. Volume profiles is how you want to set it to draw mode. Ticks per volume bar, again, if you're on ES, 1. If you're on the NASDAQ, maybe 4. Volume graph period type, multiple profiles start to end time. Right there. All right, set as independent volume profile. No, it's not a TPO chart. 1 day. Number of bars. Okay, don't worry about all this. Use different start time. Check it out. Yes. Put whatever your session start time is. You know, match your chart settings essentially, right? Keep it simple. Kiss. It's incidentally the NinjaTrader thing we're copying here, huh? Maybe I shouldn't say that. I don't know. Is there legality involved with that? I don't know. It's slightly different, so whatever. So 6:30 to 13:15 is for me the Pacific Standard Time. For your East Coast, this would be 9:30 to whatever 16:15. Yeah. It took me a second to figure that out. Use separate profile for evening session? No, because you're going to have a separate volume by price study. There's a reason for that. Maximum volume percent width, I like 15% of the window width. So that's going to be comparing from the window width here to here. So this is 15% of the total width for the window. You don't like to do it for the session. You want to do it for the window so that it's always the same size over here. It takes up the exact same space. You could change that. You can say 10% if you want, right? Save some space. If this still gives you a nice view, you think, then do that. Right? For me, I like 15. Right align, yes, because we're aligning it over here. Display volume in bars, that would be for text. No, this isn't about text. This chart is not about text. It's all about a visual, and that's it. Let's see. So display. Let's see. Volume bar calculation is total volume. So bid volume and ask volume coloring method. Difference of bid and ask volume gets you deltas here. Okay. So difference of bid and ask volume. Draw outline when coloring bid and ask volume. Yes, because this is how neat this chart is looking. We were wanting it to be more of a visual thing. Now, you know, if you don't do that, you say no, it's going to look like that. So, you know, maybe you like that. I don't know. If you do like that, then you don't have to listen to me talk for the subgraph settings and the outline. So whatever. Whatever you want to do. Difference of bid and ask volume coloring percent. You don't really care about that. So if you did say draw the difference of the bid and ask volume using percent of max bar, it would just say like the bid and ask volume would be a maximum out to here, right? Just based on like a proportion of like the highest delta being here. All right, let's see what this looks like. I'll show you. So you see that? All right. Actually, because of how this chart is kind of squeezed down, it doesn't matter too much with the deltas because they're using a minimum distance here. All right, so the deltas are too close in value, right, for this to have any highs or lows. So if that doesn't make sense, whatever. I'll show you on another chart where I use I basically pay attention more to deltas at tick. Again, there's not a lot of space on this chart, but I do like having in there. I like to know where my negative deltas are and essentially my positive deltas. All right, this is just more of a visual chart. Okay, we're using transparency. The transparency is only 5% because we want this essentially to pop. If the transparency is too high, because this is a light gray and this is a white, or you should say like an off-white, and this is a brighter white, we want session POC to pop. So the transparency has to be set really, really, really low. Okay. Highlight the value area. Yes, that's this area here. So that's that off-white, dark white, I guess. Light gray. You're not extending the value area because we're keeping track of value through a separate study, and we want to see as it migrates. So, right, don't want to just extend it because that'll just sort of like it'll extend out, and then this will be like migrating all over the place. And it's like, no, we're being really cool about this. We're watching value migrate, and then wherever it ends up, this will be white. Okay, so this is always just going to be current value. It's not from the past, but we see the past here. That's why we do that like that. Highlight point of control. Yes, that's this. We're not future intersecting it. The point of control. The volume bars. Draw style. Field volume bars. Allow side-by-side volume profiles on the right side. Yeah, because we want it side-by-side. So yes on that. Man, this is it's just time intensive to set this thing up. Let's see. Because we want to summarize what's happening in each of the sessions, essentially, we do say show chart values on profile. Show chart values on profile with labels, right? Not in a single line. We want them over the top of each other. We're going to put it on the bottom of the graph. Again, your font size according to what you set for your chart. Right? For me, 6 is nice. It allows me to see everything underneath. And I want to show volume, deltas, or ask volume minus bid volume, and then the range for today. I think that's it's good for the way that I look at markets. Okay, so do whatever works for you. So volume point of control, you got to set that nice and bright white, the brightest white you can do. Okay. The volume bars, outline and fill color. That's this. So black, dark gray. All right. It'll still pop against a black background. The RTH, value area and outline. So value area is this, and then the outline. All right. Maybe you can make it slightly like this. Watch. All right. So now the POC pops even more. Whatever. I'll even leave it. I don't care. So I could have done that a little better. Again, this isn't controlling the evening session because what we said in the settings, we don't care about that. This will matter. Volume, value area, bid volume and ask volume, and point of control, bid volume and ask volume. So this is the bid and ask volume on these areas, and you do want it to be the same because we just want bid and ask volume or deltas to always be this color. Otherwise, you're going to get like red and green or something over here, and you're going to know it's the bid and ask volume at point of control. You already know where point of control is. It's just kind of silly to have it as a different color, but you know, hey, maybe some people like it that way. And then you also want to make sure you change bid volume and ask volume color. Okay, that's it. That gets you the whole volume profile, the whole shebang. All you do for your ETH here is what I would do, duplicate this, okay? So duplicate the RTH, make it easy on yourself, duplicate it. As you duplicate, it's going to be the same name, right? And the one that's duplicated, it'll be selected. So it doesn't matter which one you change, does it? No. Okay, so you hit the settings, oops. Yeah, hit the settings for it, and then all you do is in your short name, change the R to an E, and then change your time. I would say 1330 to 629.59. Again, according to whatever your chart session settings are, match it, right? If your chart setting sessions aren't set right, shame on you. You can do slightly less white if you want. Whatever. Right align volume. This is already all set up for you. What you might change is if you're like, well, I can never remember RTH is on the left and extended trading hours is on the right. So what you might want to do for that is up here for your transparency, wherever the hell it is, 15. So, okay, use transparent. So the other one's 5%. Make this one slightly darker. Do like 15%. Right? And maybe that makes a difference for you. Or maybe do 20%. And that way in your mind, you're like, well, the one that really matters more, because volume is what matters, is RTH, right? And ETH pops a little bit less. So, you know, that may be a way for you to kind of remember that ETH is weighted less than the RTH. Again, if there's a lot of volume in the Globex overnight, then that matters too. I'm not saying it doesn't, but I'm just saying as a way to differentiate. Okay, so essentially what this ends up looking like is this. Right? You get that down here, you get that down here. And it's really nice. So anyway, that's the whole tutorial on how to make this this chart. I was mentioning for my deltas, what I like to use for deltas is my TPO chart. Look at that. So your delta imbalances, kind of the same thing that I just did, but I hide the volume and make this only delta. And then for the TPO, you see how this is white, right? Darker. So all the volumes the white here. So there's a setting in Sierra chart. This is a bonus section here before I get off. Or actually, maybe go start buying more puts or something. Go into your studies and color TPO row based on percentage of POC volume. Set that to yes. And Sierra chart uses the first 10 letter block lines here for that setting. And so, you know, you can just make a gradient, and anywhere that volume is highest will be white, right? And then that gradient's like, okay, less volume up here. So this already tells me, this gives me the TPO chart, and it also tells me where the volume is on the TPO chart. So I don't really need to have it over here. I could care less. For this chart, it just doesn't matter. So anyway, and then that goes with the theme of POC being what? White. Just like this flow footprint chart, right? So POC is white, it's lighter. So, you know, that keeps your charting sort of consistent. So there you go. Here's another bonus. You know, I shorted the shit out of the markets in the morning. Put a 60-minute chart up and use trend lines. So I shorted, you know, what did I short? Now that I got you all here. I shorted 78. It's in my Discord. I actually gave people predictions this morning, even though I said I wasn't going to do it. But I gave people predictions in my Discord this morning so that they know, like, I know what the fuck I'm doing. And I want to encourage people to actually chat and discuss the markets. So I figured, well, if I can call the market accurately, maybe people will be more open about opening up. So I don't know if it had the effect. But anyway, it is in my Discord chat. So I shorted above this because I figured stops were going to get hit. We had another gap, and there was going to be profit taking. So 72 was first profit taker, 67 was the next one, and then I went long under T+1 or yesterday's close, and you know, only got like whatever 4 or 5 points out of that, and then shorted a little bit, and then I quit playing after that. Not a whole hell of a lot of edge for me after that, and you know, we had the whole, oh, look at this, we had the whole, right, symmetrical triangle here, right? So it was choppy. So I just figured I'll stay out. But anyway, I'm plugging my Discord now. All right, Reginder, have a great weekend. So that's it. So my Discord is up in YouTube on my banner. Top right, there's a never expiring, so far, Discord invite. And the whole point of that is not for calls. It's just to discuss markets and learn. You know, I'm pretty stingy about not making market calls, but of course you've got a lot of definitely some good traders in there, and you're gonna get some calls, but that's not the goal. The goal is to learn and discuss markets and challenge each other's theses and just learn. So anyway, have a great weekend, guys. I hope you guys, if you're trading the close, I hope you're not fighting the trend. Don't be a hero. But have a good one, and I hope you enjoyed the flow footprint in Sierra chart. Sierra chart is amazing software for money. So if you're not using Sierra chart, the things you can do are just about really limitless. The only limit is your imagination or inability to understand the software. So, but that is what I'm trying to fill the gaps in for people. And I'm also learning every day, or every week at least. I learn something new with Sierra Chart. So, anyway, with that, I bid you all adios. Have a good weekend.